So I'm just telling you, we're kind of our own worst critics. I can't even tell you. I should probably pull up some of my early social media posts so everyone feels better, right? Like, wow, she's still doing this and she had posts that look like that, like consistently. Like, oh my gosh, and doing it wrong and errors and not having outcomes and all kinds of things that were not helpful. But this really is just for this, for your checklist, is that you know how to do it. This is, I call it my square foot gardening principle, which is we did a square foot garden for 3 years in a row and it was awful. The deer came in one year, another year we overwatered it. So we had this bushy, beautiful plants and all that. And all we had was the little, from the movie Big, those little tiny corn. That's all we had. We like 3 little corn. That was it. And 2 little baby cucumbers. I'm like, I'm making a salad, people. We spent all this time and money. Most expensive salad I've ever had. We had soil and fertilizer because our soil up here is terrible. And we only have like 2.5 months of like actual growth. I mean, it was the worst. It was the worst.
I'll relate. $50 for 4 strawberries, right? Like it's terrible.
Like, we're teaching them life skills. They're learning how to do it. They weeded for like 5 minutes because it's a square foot garden, right? They didn't do anything. And even they were supposed to put up like the stuff to protect from the deer, and that fell down because they did a terrible job. So it really was. It was like a law of diminishing returns. Like, no, I do not want to do a garden. But the point of it is, principle is that I know how, right? I know how. I could go back to the deep recesses of my mind and get past the PTSD, and I could actually do it again. So that's the idea, is that you know how to post, you know that you need to have outcomes, you know to have a thought-provoking question, you need to think of their needs, not telling them what you do, what's their needs, and then that you fill it. So I want to just run this down really fast. If you want to write this down, when you're doing a post, I want you to remember, first, you want to access and acknowledge their need. So acknowledge their need, and that's how you do it through a thought-provoking question. Have you ever felt, are you looking at 2024 and feeling this feeling? Have you wanted to find music that fills your soul and gives you peace, but you don't know where to find Christ-centered music that will do that? Blah, 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 or a unique way of connecting with the Savior. Are you thinking about getting remarried, but you're scared to death of the reality that 75% of second marriages fail? Whatever. Starting with that, kind of acknowledging the need through a thought-provoking question, picture, show, don't tell, stat, any of those 5 S's would work. But start with acknowledging their need, their need. Don't say, hey, I've got this awesome masterclass that's coming. Start with their need. Then you want to talk about the outcomes, right? Do you know that you can have a peaceful year this year? And you can do it by listening to 3 minutes of my music. And you can do it as much as you want because I'm giving it to you free, blah, 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 as you go down that. So what's the outcomes they're going to get or can get? Do you know that you could have? Do you know that your life could feel like this? Something to do with outcomes. Then the next thing you're going to do is testimonial. You're going to showcase an experience of someone you've helped that has gotten those outcomes. So you're going to acknowledge their need to have some kind of outcome. You're going to say you can have that outcome and reassure, you know what, your life could be like this, or you could solve problems like this, or you could learn how to set boundaries. You could be setting boundaries and it will change your life. When I worked with Susie, I always say Susie, so it's not our Susie. I always use that name. I'll talk Jenny. When I worked with Jenny, she could not set a boundary to save her life. She couldn't even set a boundary on someone being able to use her toothbrush, right? Whatever. But after I taught her 3 core principles, she was able to set healthy boundaries and started being able to sleep at night, blah, 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 whatever. So then that testimonial is showcasing, this is how you can get this result, right? And then after you've done the testimonial and you've showcased, I helped so-and-so do it, you can do it too. Reassure them, you can do it too. You reassured them on outcomes, now you're making it personal. You can do this too. Some kind of reassurance. Now, sometimes that reassurance is built in the testimonial because the women will be like, oh, well, if Jenny could do it, then I can do it. You don't always necessarily have to say it so clearly, but I like that. And if you do that on a social media post, you make it one line on its own. You can have that too. You can experience this too. You can do it too. Make that its own line because people skim. And as soon as they see, wow, I can do that too. What can I do? Wait a second. What did I miss? Then the next thing you want to do is do a time limit, an urgency. For the next week, I'm going to give you the opportunity to do a 30-minute free session with me to be able to get through that one boundary. You can bring a boundary problem to me and I will help you reset that so that you can set a healthy boundary. Or you can do a free call with me, or you can do this free 3-video course that's free, 5 minutes each video. And it's going to teach you one way to overcome one fear of getting remarried, of that blah, 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 whatever it is that you're feeling with your future potential spouse, blah, blah, blah. So you want to do some kind of time limit. And then you want to have the last thing is a simple way to push the button. It's very simple. Go to my link in bio, go to this website, look at this thing, copy this, whatever it is, something super simple. If it's more than 2 steps, don't do it. It should be 1 step. Go to my website and click on free discovery call. So if they go to my website, they see in the top fold, book a call. Okay. I don't have to do 2 steps. I don't have to go to my website and then click on book a call. Your audience is smart. If your button is story brand and mine is orange, they can't miss it. They go on my website, they'll be like, book a call, get a free discovery call. Oh, okay. I know what I'm supposed to do. So does that make sense? If you follow those steps on your posts, those people will be more likely to interact.